Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have yet another iteration, another S+ build on our darling VIEGO with a brand new swanky skin. And this is actually a nice skin. I do think we should get more lore skins in general, but for those of you who happen to be historians of the jungle, you will note that we are against a Camille jungle. Now, if this is something that is remotely viable, and I can kind of investigate a little bit, I will present you a video on this as well. But for this one, we're focused on, of course, a Blade of the Ruined King Frostfire VIEGO build that has been around for a little bit now. It's not new. I'm not claiming to break new ground here, but it's the first time we've covered it on this channel. And we typically always come back to VIEGO because he is a fan favorite, and of course because he's just really fun to play for most people who main him, but his win rate is not so good, right? We can agree on that. So is it a case of optimization? And I think it is a lot of that actual perspective, but it's also, you know, identifying when certain builds can pop off and when others can do that instead of it. So runes on your screen now, absolutely exciting runes for you. Don't forget, ZodaGG. Subscription is live. You can basically sub and have whatever guide you want from the jungle. I just put out Lee Sin, Hecarim. I also put out a Kane guide. We have a whole bunch of new ones coming next week as well. So head to the link description below for the VIEGO guide, which exists also, as well as all of those great meta junglers. Now, we are starting here on the red buff, going down, and this is the kind of stuff that makes me do this, because we can see that Camille doing that which Camille does, and always the junglers like Camille are predictable. You know, your Jarvans, your Xinqiaos, your Camilles, they know that a VIEGO or something like this is gonna do your 3 camper. Maybe I can level 2 and then just go and invade a blue, which is, of course, this is a very Season 8 strategy right here. And I'm getting a bit of upset vibes in my brain. My brain doesn't like seeing this. And, you know, obviously, ward, bot lane rotates, because this is what we do now. Back in the day, you know, you couldn't pay for a rotation for this. You know, it was just a case of people didn't want, let it reset, to be honest with you, unless you want to coin flip the smite. I don't want to coin flip the smite, but they do. Camille goes in, Victor's rotating as well. We now have a straight up 3v3. Rakan is going to die. Nyla, the new Samira, gets a kill. VIEGO's pushed out of his jungle. He didn't even finish his wolves. Right? So this is the kind of decision making against the aggressive junglers that you need to use. And VIEGO's very good at this, because he could just as easily have gone to Krugs, go to Raptors, see this nonsense, say, she's taking my blue and Grom. And you go take her blue and Grom and wolves. And of course you gank the free lane that is a ranged top lane. Because remember, ranged top laners are free food, as they would say on the planet Sakaar. That's now 2 references in 3 videos, not bad. And of course here we're gonna go back and finish our wolves. Camille has gone from the level 2 gank to stealing the blue, outsmiting, to moving across to gank in the mid lane here. Now she's getting chunked a little bit, and the removal of the CC on monsters was critical for this, you see. But obviously with smite now and everything, it's easy for basically anyone to do. Mundo, you just kind of smite that thing, QE, and it dies. So for VIEGO, good correction here. The Grump is obviously hugely valuable for that. Let's go ahead and gank this bottom lane before she's able to reset and spend that gold cash monies. Sums are burned, obviously, in this particular case, which means we should be able to get ourselves some free kills, except it's a highly mobile ADC, because ADCs apparently have no downside in Season 12. Peak design, as it were. Camille obviously gets another assist here, and we have the Blitzcrank. See, this little Blitzcrank hooking of the Krugs is not as mysterious as it has been. You know, we don't have to be the legendary swag to make this now, because they're going to be buffing Blitzcrank jungle and a few other things. So the next tier list should be quite interesting. Camille now has reset and come straight to the bottom. She has a Sheen here, because that Sheen is exquisitely good for volleyballers as well when you want to go PvP gaming, right? It's not going to aid in your clear as much, but for your PvP, for your ganking, for your fisting, it's definitely going to be good. This is just stupid at this point. I feel like that was just dumb. Do we agree? Can we agree on the fact that that was just stupid? Because we saw the mid laner move on down. We know the mid lane is there. We know that they could just be trapping in a bush. What's going to happen here? Triple kill for the VIEGO. Now we are the Cassidyna. Okay, now we can become someone else here. Can we get a quadra kill? Yes, we can. Quadra kill for the Nyla VIEGO. Now, VIEGO players, on your first base, would you like to have 5 kills normally? Yes, you would. But the 5 kills didn't just arrive. You know, we lost our blue buff, right? We got invaded here. Our bot lane was definitely behind. We made the correct call saying, okay, she's gone top side. She can get that crab. Let me loop back around full HP, abuse the summonerlessness of the bottom lane, And of course, Camille does a good job as well, basing, getting Sheen and coming back for the fight. She does a dumb thing of running into them, but Viego just capitalizes on this, becomes the champions, uses the champions, executes the champions, and that's the thing about Viego. Okay, the Blade of the Rune King first isn't as good statistically as your Kraken Slice, but it is a significantly better tool for players to get this kind of lead, right? It's a much better PvP tool, and secondarily, you could go any of those mythics that you enjoy, but the Frostfire one gives you resistances, slow fields, and damage. And for Viego, whose struggle at the moment is, even with those resets, a little bit of survivability if you don't get Divine Sundra, which means you just do such lower, you just don't do enough damage. Now with Blade of the Rune King, being such a great item, with Frostfire being such a great item as well, making you a lot more tanky, still giving you the damage, giving you the ability to chase down highly mobile comms, it's going to be really, really useful. And of course, Mami Cinder does help in aiding your clears, which with Noonquiver you get, as we try another repeat gank here, but you don't always get that with you know, your sort of Blade of the Rune King Divine Sundra builds, right? There's no inherent monster damage clearing amplification, which there is with Noonquiver, and of course Mami's Cinder. Now, let's have a look and take stock of the game here. We have a 4 assist Victor. This repeat gank on the bot lane is good. One of those situations where you're looking at this and going, okay, look, Yasuo plus a Rakan, that's an S plus gankable lane, really. However, the Nyla is difficult to gank with Ghost Cleanse, not running it down. Legitimate summoner spells now, what a time to be alive. And of course, Blitzcrank. You're not always going to get the kills, but as long as you can push him back and fall back to an objective, that's great. Now, in terms of the Camille here, this is where she struggles, right? This is it. You see, all of this has gone on. We haven't focused on her at all. 0-2-3. Look how long it takes her to do the red buff. I mean, this is embarrassing. I mean, Ornn does it quicker than she does. So she literally could have lost it as well. So that's a little bit of a downside to the champion. And this highly risky play style, and I do think with Camille, try a Tiamat. Not kidding. Because you want the Ravenous Hydra, you can do the Ravenous Hydra tag, then a Tiamat will aid you early. So this is something maybe we can flush this out together. Maybe there's a sort of Kale jungle, Mundo jungle, Ornn jungle kind of, you know, where that Tiamat can offset your weaknesses. Let's think about this. We'll come back to it in a future video if I can develop it a bit. But now for Viego, we want level 6. Bot lane has moved away. Rakan is here. Always worried about them moving up to hit this. So here, I'm just pausing quickly because I would kind of like to hit this just to see if there's any vision. Just to see where they're going. I don't want to give them the benefit of coming to hit that plant and hitting it into my jungle, and then they see me. And now they know where I am, they know I'm basing, they know what my level is. I kind of like being a bit mysterious in that way. And of course, Viego should enjoy that as well. Well, this is base Viego, so he's young and love and happy, and he's got the gigantic big-ass sword. He's not, you know, hole in his heart, emotional, emo, world destroyer. Oh, that didn't go very well, did it? Well, I wouldn't know because the writing was so bad for that event. I stopped paying attention. As soon as they made Rengar an idiot, I was like, I'm out, can't do it. Couldn't have imagined. I'm so glad Ornn wasn't really a feature or in it, because can you imagine? Now, bot lane is good gaming. We are basically going to say, look, most likely we might be losing this. Maybe she's topside. We're not really too concerned about the Camille in these situations because he's highly gankable, well, ganking focused jungle. She does take the Herald. You know that you're going to outpace them with a farm. You know, if you can at least focus on one side of the map and counter jungle, they're screwed. Yeah, they might get you Krugs and you red every now and then. Here we wait for the wave. Okay, wait for this gap in the vision here. There we go, so we don't get seen. Counter jungle the Krugs. Get ourselves some stones and then go for a dive. So let's see if we can get our ult reset here. It's definitely a slower game though. I mean, we just dinked 7 to 9 minutes, 10 seconds or so. So it's not quite the snowball thing that you would kind of focus on, but it's okay, you know, you're 5-0-0 with the Blood of Rune King completed, which is exactly what we want. Excellent way here. Camille is shadowing this as well. So good jungler, because we wouldn't really know 100%, right? We know she's going to be coming from base. She just goes straight to the bottom lane, looking to shadow this. Now the Kassadin comes on down as well. We're going to flash in here to make sure we kill the Camille. We can use our hook shot to stun. We do get hooked in. We try to get the shield, doesn't really matter, and we die. So the mid lane gap comes through very, very strong. But this was interesting. Actually, let's just go back a little bit, because I kind of want to see the she doesn't really know. She'll know basically that the Krugs are gone, right? So she just looked for this. She wasn't really looking for this at all. And she didn't really know that the Viego was still trapping, but it's a really good use of the pathing there, the aggression of the bottom lane, and our Viego does fall. So that's a bit unlucky, but that's okay. 6-1-0. Now, my friends, the Blade of the Rune King will do enough damage to you. And then I will build Frostfire, and you won't be able to kill me. I'll still do damage to you. I'll be able to slow you and stick to you. Quinn, Casadino, Nyla, even the Camille. You know, honestly, the slow field's great for Camille. When she hook shots away, you can probably gap close that with your E, right? So there's definitely a little bit of utility there. But obviously the damage is really, really nice. We'll look at the damage provided from the Frostfire at the end of the video. All right, I know you can't always see it, but as always, the match history for these games are always in the description below, and the downloads of MOBALYTICS do directly support the channel, so I appreciate that, but mostly it's just so you can have a look at the gold and the elo, and you can make sure I'm not clickbaiting you, which I never am. I have fun with my titles, because honestly, the main channel is so depressing now, and I'm struggling with that. I just like to have a bit of fun with my titles. Sue me. Still educational. I do my best. Now, the Gwendolyn dies to the 3 stack on the top lane, and now we're a little bit zoning. It's kind of like a vertical jungler scenario, isn't it? We chucked out our W there with the E, so we got a huge chunk there with that Q. Huge chunk. Victor follows up with the lasers, gets hooked in. Is that really who you want to be hooking? That's the question. Nyla goes in for the ultimate there. We're going to keep focusing on her, make sure we can kill her first. We come over, Cassidy flashes over the wall. That's not so good because we can, of course, go back over with our ult for the slow if we need to, but we don't need to. We just clean up the kill on the Casadino. And now we can go and steal some Krugs. Ooh. I love the fluidity of the champion. Champions like this, you know, I do understand people's hatred of champions like VIEGO, but I honestly think he's in a good spot. Builds that do very well, but not blindly strong that he kind of pops off with that itemization. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's 2 item dependent, and if he's behind, it can feel really tough, but that quadra kill moment early, whether you're getting that at minute 5, minute 10, minute 12, minute 15, that's the moment you're waiting for. So you're just trying to stay within touching distance so that you can eventually touch the enemy team all over and get those kills. Right, second dragon is taken, and Ocean Dragon is always a juicy baby. We're going to move up here and take the Grump here. What do we have in pocket? 1200. This is a good one. I like this. We look back here. Now, do we really need to go back to base? No. Yes, but no. But at the same time, the enemy team's going to think, oh, I took the dragon going back to base here. Let's reposition ourselves. Camille shows up. Quinn shows up, which is obviously so predictable. I mean, they take the top tower. Gwen is now TPing into this one. We're going to keep our space, keep our space, keep our space. You see how we back out, go back in. Let's become the Quinn to use that ranged advantage here. We can Eon right up close to the Camille, kill her, become the Camille. We can use a hook shot onto the Blitzcrank, and off we go. And ult over the wall for safety. My friends, this is a good VIEGO game. This shows you that the patience and map control and understanding of jungle tracking and pathing and ganking while fusing it with your objective and farming is so important in VIEGO. Because if you just wait for these moments where one idiot does something dumb and mispositions, provided you want that idiot, you'll be able to get resets. Space Glide. Excuse me, you know, I'm trying to praise a VIEGO here, but he is a benevolent king. We do distribute some kills over to our team. I think that is fair when we have 10 out of 14 or 13 out of 14 KP. I don't think we should allow the wolves to be taken, so the next kill that he might have, I will snipe that. All right, that is punishable by an effective death. Make sure you know when they've been in your jungle to clear out the wards, to scan, to hit the control wards. We could just straight go for this, but we see here the 2 men in the mid lane, and Quinn is rotating down as well. We're going to flash and get that W on the Camille, which is great. I mean, becoming Camille is beautiful. Like, if anything, the best part about this matchup as VIEGO is all of these champions are really great together. You know what I mean? If you can become the Camille, and then you get that hook shot, it allows you to gap close, and you've got the ultimate. So you got the stun plus the ultimate plus your W once you exit that form, and then you can become someone else, a Quinn in this example, and then you can jump on up, blind them, gap close that as well, and you have the range component. It's quite a nice comp, actually. So those comps, I think this is one of those comps as VIEGO, you know, when things go well, you feel it. Right. That, of course, is the Frostfire completed, by the way. Damage to Delta Champions is currently at, of course, 0. We're going to get HP and 6% size increase. So if the sword wasn't big enough for you and you felt like you needed to compensate even further. Right. Quinn is pushing the top line. We're going to use that one. I kind of understand this. We really want to snipe that away from her, but it is what it is. We're going to go DD third because I think, obviously, with the inherent resistances and HP from Frostfire, then the resistances from the demonics. Sorry, demonics. Don't do that. Don't do it. Please, I did not say that. The resistances from the death stance plus the AD and so on for more, I mean, you can become quite unholy tanky. You know, resistances plus HP is always a good combination when fused together. And of course, you have the Blade of the Rune King as your raw DPS item, and well, that was nutty. Like, Blade is such a good item. Oh, the hook shot. There we go, over the wall. You see, Camille is just... Please play Camille jungle into Viegos. You can see how pleasant it is for the Viegos. They're going to have a lot of fun killing you, becoming you, and really just extending that hookshot max range with their ult over walls. I mean, that's crazy. This is like Yone level of disgust in terms of mobility. Straight to the objective, though. Kill conversion ratio. Okay, no matter what Viego game you're playing, a lot of Viegos will be too passive, not looking for these advantages, and when they do have the advantages, they don't kill conversion ratio. You know, they don't look for those free cash money objectives after those kills. And of course, your advantage then is just in kills and not tangible. Good use of the Herald to break that open because, yeah, we wanted to break that open. Dragon is spawning soon. Fortunately, it's Hextech. So Hextech, you can compromise your back timing and shorten it a little bit. If you have enough to get a core itemization spike or whatever, then obviously you have the gates to get back to the dragon a lot quicker than you otherwise would. So that does allow you sometimes a few more seconds to get a camp or two, which I don't think people use a lot. If you don't need the itemization spike, then of course you can get back on the map and clear the camp before the objective. But either way, it does provide you that flexibility. Flexibility. Right, we didn't really do any damage on that Frostfire proc because that was just like a Viego thing, Blade of the Rune King proc. Damage to champion, 1671 on the Blade at the moment. You know, they're talking, Froxion was talking about this on Twitter, about this being a rush item, filling this niche for squishier fighters who need that DPS and that attack speed focus. So we'll see how they treat it going forward, but I don't think anyone has an issue with it. I do, as a Mundo player, I'm a lot of things player, but I go through spamming phases, so all in Mundo at the moment. You know, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy seeing this item nearly as much as other people, but I still have no issue with it. I don't feel like I lose because of it or it's unfair or anything like that. I know straight up, if I build Warmog second against it, I'm inviting destruction. And I do it anyway because I like to live like that. I live dangerously. I'm a Mundo. I'm an Orn. I'm a tank. Right, let's go take a tower, I think, because obviously there are two people here. Not talking too much about the map positioning, because I think like when you're Viego that's fed with a good build, you want to focus on yourself a little bit. You're a selfish jungler in that sense. You're looking for those resets for those fights, but you just kind of want to let the enemy team do their thing and then observe and adjust your approaches and strategies. Be careful here because it might be in the bush. That's why we want to be careful. We just chuck at it blindly, but we see everyone moving up, so we kind of maybe see things that I just didn't. Babies crying in the background. Whether it's a diaper or food, I'm not sure. We'll find out after recording. It's always something different. Well, there is specific cries. I mean, non-parents won't know this, but parents will know this. Like, there's different cries for different needs, so you can kind of infer to a degree whether it's something or not. Like, you kind of know when it's food. But could it be gas? Could it be diaper? Could it be poop? Sometimes you don't know. Anyway, in this case, enough of that. Still no real benefit from it, but you know, I'm kind of waiting for that fight. We're kind of looking for the fight. You could take this in base, right? But the downside is, here we go. Immediately forces the flash. Immediately forces the flash. Immediately forces the flash. I mean, like, do you need more damage? There's 133 bonus proc damage just in that one little combo exchange. Plus you got the slow, which forces her to get out of there. We flash into her ult because we, of course, don't want to hit that. We didn't get the assist on that other kill, unfortunately. Now we're chasing a little bit, but here what I was going to say is if you're going to go back to base and kind of look to sequence down, look to go somewhere else, then you can get the red afterwards, okay? Bounty claimed. Then you can get the red afterwards. If you're going to go base from this side and go straight to the bottom side and not come back to the red, then you can just take the red, and yes, you lose a bit of time, but I think it's important to make sure it's off the map, and then of course you can go do your stuff. You'll still get a lot of benefit from that red. Why are we just... It's like Helter Skelter. You guys know those marble structures? You build them and you chuck the marbles down it. That's what the Hextech gate map is. She did well. I mean, come on, let's give her... We didn't do the applause in a few videos. I mean, good job. You know, she tried. 146 damage. It's not really about the damage, although it is nice. It's not about the damage, but it's nice. It's not always about the slow, but it's nice. It's not only about the HP, but it's nice. You know, like, it's a full package of Frostfire that's so good on a lot of champions. It's why we like to build it on a lot of melees. The context for me, usually for Mundo, is if there are ranged comp or mobile comp that I'm going to struggle to stick to, even with Spam Cleaver, I just want to be in that zone because your W and E are so useful as well. I just want to make sure I'm getting that damage, I'm getting that size. Obviously, Mundo scales with HP, so I get the bonus as well. But it allows me to stick to those comps. When you're more melee comp, like if it's like 5 melees, for example, or at least a short-range ADC, then that lethal tempo plus Sunfire is way better for me because you're obviously going to be fisting in that zone, so the damage from Sunfire cannot be ignored. Now, for Viego, obviously we don't have usually that issue. If they're all melee, then, you know, you're doing your Kraken stuff, you're doing your Divine Sunderer stuff. It's not really that great, but, you know, it gets a really heavy melee sustained comp, then Divine Sunderer is going to be good, you know, if they have a lot of CC and things like that, so. Right. Can we look for a Baron play here? This is quieting down quite a bit. And now you're going to see at the end of the video, in the match history, the damage control is significantly in Viego's favor. Like, he is one of the only guys who actually did damage in these fights over the whole course of the game. Really, it was just him. You see what patience does for you. But I have Frostfire. You can't kill me. You literally cannot kill me. I have a percentage-based ultimate, basically pseudo-execute. I can become the Camille. I have a percentage damage item as well. So a lot of your damage then isn't really contingent necessarily on your itemization. Kraken's obviously benefits, but right, just in that zone there, we went from 146 to 387. There's over 200 damage, right, just from those small exchanges. You add that up over the course of an actual competitive game, and it can definitely add up. And also, they engage on you here heavily. You get trapped, you can be boosted up by the Cassid and by the Camille. No, you cannot now. And that's his problem. His win rate has been going down ever since his survivability, his base heal was nerfed. Because you could afford to build tanky, do a lot of damage, and never die. Because you'd get the healing component from your passive as well as your itemization. The Divine Sunderer, right? The Conqueror, right? But once they nerfed that and made it scale way more with crit, that base value, you had to build more squishy to get that healing component, to get that sustain and fight. And some players just cannot adjust their playstyle to that Assassino playstyle. We've talked about it a lot, and it's insane amount of damage, but you don't have a lot of sustain. If you're out of position, you will get rinsed. But here you can, I mean, like, I mean, that's just Frostfire, Blade of the Rune King, and Death's Dance. I mean, do you need more damage? No, so let's become unkillable with our Frostfire. And, you know, sticky. There you go, beautiful, again. The utility of the item is so good. So good. They should have, I mean, this is disgusting. He controlled this game. 15-1-8. Damage? Oh. Of course, we lose it. We lose it when we change forms. So, I actually have no idea how much. Can we fix these coding things? I want to know. I want to know here. Can I find out quickly? Does it say anything here at the moment? 480. 480. Okay. So, we lost it from this transform here. So, here, before we get the transform, 526. Okay. So, not a lot, but it's a shorter game, obviously. And we didn't really fight a lot. But against melee comps, you can also still go with the Frostfire. It's not like you cannot. I mean, if they're highly damage-focused, burst-focused team comp against you, even in melee, then it's going to give you a lot of stickiness as well. Not that you really need it as Viego, but it does help. And then, of course, they can't burst you out either. So there's a lot of utility in this build. I do think it's a great one for most people to try if you're struggling, still adapting to Kraken Slay, but you don't really feel the love in the Divine Sunderer. The Blade of the Rune King first into the Frostfire is a very interesting build. You got the sustain with the Death Dance as well. You got your GA, you got your more Mordias. What more do you want, my friends? Little fun Viego video. Don't forget Zara GG guys for Viego and all of those other champions listed below. 16 more coming next week. New subscription-based activation. Main channel has a lot of new content, especially based on Canyon's rank 1, rank 2. Go have a look at that. Subscribe to both channels, please. Like all the videos you can. Comment on all the videos you can. Tell me what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. I don't really care. Oh no, I do care what your flavor of ice cream is, but I don't care. Just speak to me. I'll speak back. I read all. Can't always respond to all, but I'll try. Alright, I have coaching now. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial. Coaching on Patreon.